What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is Down to Earth with me, Kristian Harloff. And look, age of disclosure, it kind of came and went. You know, people have been talking about it for sure. Not that it came and went and it didn't really cause any impact, but it's a news cycle. You know, it's what people are talking about now. However, some of the people that were in the film, now when they're being interviewed for other things, they're being asked about the film. And that certainly was the case with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who was asked about the comments that he made. And remember, you got to remember this also. These statements and these interviews that were made for age of disclosure are probably over a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. Because, hell, man, the movie itself came out at South by in January, which was a year ago. So this is easily 2 years ago when the interviews were made. I remember when I had Ryan Graves on the show, and I talked to Ryan Graves about it, and I said, were you in it? And he's like, yeah, and that, I mean, shoot, man, that interview was like 7 months ago, and when I was talking to him about that movie, he was like, it happened a long time ago, that interview, so maybe 2.5 years ago, 2 years, I don't know, but now that it's come out, obviously more people are going to be asking the question. So for Rubio's like, oh yeah, I remember I did that movie, sure. So here's the interview, and this is from Fox News. They were asking him about the comments. So check it out.
There's a show that's come out. It's called Age of Disclosure.
Yeah.
Okay, I know everyone probably, right? Everyone asks you about it?
Sure.
It's a new documentary. We had repeated instances of something operating in the airspace over restricted nuclear facilities. It's not ours, and presidents operate on a need-to-know basis.
Yeah.
Okay, that is...
So a couple points on it. First of all, I'm not disavowing that. It was an interview that was done almost maybe 3 or 4 years ago when I was in the Senate.
Right.
So it wasn't recent. The second point I would make, I was describing the allegations that people have come forward with. I have people that came forward to us. You know, some of these people were Navy pilots, admirals, generals, whatever, that would come forward and say, that there were programs in the U.S. government that not even presidents were made aware of. So I was describing what people had said to me, not things that I have firsthand knowledge of in that regard. A little bit of selective editing, but it's okay because, you know, you're trying to sell a show there. But the fundamental comments, I haven't seen it, but the clips I've seen and people have shown me are fundamentally true, and that is there are things, we know this has been documented, there have been things that fly over the airspace, restricted airspace, be it where we're conducting military exercises or the like, and everyone in the government says they're not ours. And so what I worry most about, just me personally, is that some adversary, another country, for example, has developed some asymmetric capability for surveillance or the like that we just are not prepared for. You know, we're looking for missiles and fighter jets, and they're coming at us with drones and balloons. Yeah. Remember, you know, when NORAD turned on the radars and started looking for balloons, all of a sudden they spotted a bunch of balloons flying overhead. 90% of them were innocent, you know, things. A couple of them were Chinese. And so, but we never look for balloons because our radars aren't trained for that. So that really was the point I was trying to drive at. I can't comment on the rest of the documentary. It has, as I said, claims from people that were former admirals, naval fighters, people with high clearances in government. Some of them are pretty spectacular claims. I'm not calling these people liars. I don't have independent knowledge that what they're saying is true. Mm-hmm. The one observation I had is we had people that did very important jobs in the U.S. government who are saying these things. So we have people with very high jobs in the U.S. government that are either A, liars, B, crazy, or C, telling the truth. And 2 of those 3 options are not good.
But I don't know the answer.
I don't know the answer. I don't have any point of, you know, I don't want to call them liars. I just don't have any independent way to verify everything they said.
I'll tell you. I have a lot of thoughts on this. I mean, the following statement is, well, no, duh, that's what he always did. But he's a pure politician now. I mean, he's a pure politician. He's a higher rank now. And, you know, and they have been marketing the trailer off of him and his words, right? Because of the position of power that he has now as Secretary of State. As he mentioned, he was not the Secretary of State when he did that interview. And he was a little bit more outspoken about some of the things that he was saying. And he wouldn't have done that interview today. That's pretty much what he said without saying it. And that's pretty much what we know anyway. But as we said, it was probably like a 3 or 4 year interview. 3 or 4 years ago when he did the interview, plus the fact he has been, when this topic was first really getting hot, whether it was in 2022, 23, he was very outspoken about the topic. And he repeated a lot of the points that he's said in the past. I mean, that last bit where he said people are either crazy, telling the truth, or either he's been he's had that in his pocket and he says it all the time. He said you can look that up, and he's said that at least 5 to 10 times in interviews. I don't think it's an untrue statement. I think it's a true statement. I think it more so proves that the amount of people that are out there. He used to say it in a way that, like, look, here are these people that are out there saying it, and either these people are working for the government, they're crazy. It was almost like he was advocating for more belief and looking into it, finding out what it is. Now it's the standard kind of politician thing. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm just saying I haven't seen any proof. This is a different guy than 3-4 years ago because of the responsibility that he now has, to which I understand in the government job that he has. I think it's like, this is why I always tell you guys, I don't believe politicians and anything that they say ever, even the biggest advocates for this thing, because today they care, tomorrow they're not supposed to care as much because they have something else that they're supposed to care about. So that's priority. And that certainly is the case in this interview, because he says the things that we all know. There are things that are flying around. There's other things that are happening, and we need to know what it is. But he's now doing the stigma shtick where Henry brings it up and he giggles about it. He's like, oh, I don't know. I'm not saying that I did. That was like 4 years ago, and I'm not saying, it's selective editing and this. It's like you're walking it back now. It was kind of a lame response. I would have liked to have seen him go, look, here's the deal. Even saying the same thing that he just did, but saying it differently. If it was like, this was an interview that I did, I wasn't Secretary of State at the time that I had did this, and I was a bit more involved in it back then than I am now. I've been involved in a few more things, and I haven't been as involved as, say, other people who are working on these things. And I mentioned some of the people that are working on it inside of the committees. However, one of the things that I will say, and how does he not watch it? How do you not watch the thing that you were in? How does it, especially if you're in the government and these things, and if you have an interest in the subject, how do you not watch this? Oh, I haven't seen it. How do you not watch it? It's crazy to me that he hasn't watched it. He's in it, and it's like, just show me the clips I'm in. So first of all, I think it's irresponsible that he didn't watch it. And I say that saying to me, I haven't watched it yet, but it's different for me. I'm not in it. I know there's a lot of information and stuff that's in there. And also, it's not my business, the whole Congress side of it, and people, the colleagues and things that I work with. There's people he walks in and sees in every day of his life that are in that thing. He's the Secretary of State with a UFO documentary saying that we have a program that is being covered up. And the Secretary of State isn't watching that of the thing that he's in. And again, I'm saying this if you watch my channel, hopefully you know this, in a very bipartisan way. The entire government is a clown show, not just one side. It's a clown show. And it is a matter of, well, you know what? Today, this is important. And people care about this subject when I'm talking about it, and they don't care about when I'm talking about other things, so I'll talk about this. There are people like that. There's people like, well, I don't need to talk about this right now, and I don't need to talk about this. I got other things I'm talking about right now, and I don't want people scoffing my nose. I'm in too big of a position right now. I can't do that. I can't talk about this. Oh, you're bringing up the UFO thing? Ha! It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that this is the way that he gave this interview. He's in the doc, and the fact that he didn't watch it. He should have watched it. And again, I'm not saying that you needed to watch this and say, oh, yeah, absolutely, there are UFOs flying around all over the place. You could have had the same intent of saying, look, it could be anything at this point. And I made that clear in my interviews. And you could still say there are some things that were taken inside of the trailer that they didn't get the full context of what I was saying. My point is that we don't have all the information that's out there right now. We don't have everything. And what I've learned in my history of it is, and I would have made sure to say, look, there were things that I have been told about presidents and other things. And there are things that happened through. He is very knowledgeable on this. He was very involved, and he was very outspoken about it. And then he started to be one less of the voices doing the Homer Simpson into the bush. That's what happened. But this is why, and I continue to now quote Matthew Brown when he said, the disclosure is not going to come from the government. It's just not. It's going to come from civilians. Now, whether or not that civilian push is also through films is very possible. But what will happen inside of films? Like, look, age of disclosure. It started a conversation, and just like the drones, where the drones were starting a conversation for a little bit, and then people stopped talking about it because something else, a news cycle. This will be out of the news cycle entirely, if it isn't already soon. Especially the fact that you got to pay $20 to see it. That's a huge problem. It needed to get picked up and marketed by a Netflix or Apple or something, where it's if you already have it and you push play and you can see it. If you're asking people who are not interested in it to buy it, because I didn't rent it because it's information that I know already. So that's why I didn't get it. I'm not paying $19.99 for a lot of the information, because what I don't want to do is come back to you guys and say, yeah, I watched it and I paid $19 for it. I'm pissed off that I spent $20 to rent this thing, and it's just information I saw already. It's not the intent of this thing. It's the intent is what it has accomplished, and that is getting people to discuss and to talk about, and to get Hannity to ask this question to Rubio when he's out there talking about it. Now he's been asked, and now he's going to give this cockamamie answer every time he gets asked about it now, which is unfortunate. But they should stop asking him and ask other people, because this is the kind of stuff that eventually deters not only people, because here, if Rubio would have answered this in a way like, okay, look, I stand by the things that I said here. We don't really know what this is, and there's a good possibility it could be this. And I did watch it, and addressing the fact that we have this reverse engineer program. I can't really talk about that all the way through because I don't have all the information, but I certainly would like to get more of the information. Then whoever he's given the interview to, they start to take it more serious. Now it's just like, I blew it off. It was just he kind of backtracked on it, and I'm not going to ask him about that. There's really nothing there. It's unfortunate, but that's the way I feel. How do you feel about it? Do you think that this is something that should be, addressed when it comes to these politicians who gave these interviews? Do you think that his interview was well said? Maybe you disagree with me thoroughly. Put your thoughts in there. Let me know. Like I told you the other day, my schedule's been nuts this week. It's been nuts. There's so many stories that have been breaking too, and I just have had. It's been tough for me to get to it. I run this 2 channels, and my time has run out. Also, I got a life outside of this too, man, and it just wasn't. And time runs out. And so I was able to get at least 2 videos out this week. I'm going to try to do my goal is to try to get at least 5 next week. That's my goal. Because I want to discuss this more. I love talking to you guys in the comments about it. I love hearing your thoughts. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And as I told you on the other day, I'll tell you today, Prize Picks, I'll tell you about them. Check them out, and I'll put the link in the description. All right. See you guys. Bye. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. So the holiday season is here, and it really is the best time for sports. Bowl games, basketball matches, playoff pushes, it is all happening at once. And so while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what you're going to eat, which games to watch, there is one place where it feels good to be right: Prize Picks. I got a friend of mine who's not caught up as much in sports. Not really even, he's still explaining what a first down is. But then we started playing on Prize Picks, and I showed how to do Prize Picks, and she's sending me messages on Sunday about who she's picking up in her lineup. It's exciting. Gets everybody amped up to watch the game. For me, it's all about football. I'm not going to lie to you. On my first pick, I lost. It's still fun. You just keep on playing. You have a good time doing it. And it's just, when you get that win, you're like, okay, I'm feeling it. There's a new feature alert that they have now. Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you can have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. And that's pretty great. So I love how straightforward Prize Picks is. I don't have to spend a lot of time trying to calculate my payouts. Prize Picks makes it easy with their payout multipliers. Whether it's just a simple 3-time or big 2,000, Prize Picks makes it easy to understand how much I can win. It's simple to play. You just pick more or less or at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you cash in. Join millions of users and sign up for America's #1 fantasy sports app. Download the PrizePicks app today and use that code DTE. You're going to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code DTE. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right.